Hey, my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay, and I am sharing everything that I am learning as we are building our new construction home. So if you're new here and you want to see what it takes in order to get through breaking ground and actually getting into your semi-custom home, please consider subscribing. And if you are already a subby, thanks for tuning back in. So today we're going to be talking all about the pre-construction meeting. And I think the pre-construction meeting, outside of understanding your contract and everything else, is probably one of the most important meetings you can have, because this is the time where you get to sit down with your construction manager, sort out anything that's not clear, ask all of the questions that you want to ask, and make those final customizations to your floor plan before they start to build. So today we're going to be talking about a few things that you should do to prepare for your pre-construction meeting and what you can expect when you get there. Let's hop into today's video. We are ready to talk all about your pre-construction meeting. But before we hop into that, there hadn't been any major updates on a lot. They still are laying down the rough plumbing to get the house prepared for foundation. So last week, the hubby and I were under the weather. We weren't feeling well. We are much better now. So we got a chance to drive by when we were trying to get some fresh air. But when we drove by, nothing really was happening. So we reserved our energy for this weekend and just kind of laid around the house. So there's no real updates for the lot. But I do have a couple of questions that came through. And guys, if you are watching these videos and you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I want to share as much as I can about my process. We're building a Highlands home. So some of this will be specific to the Highland home process, but I think with no matter who you're building, you can actually use this information as a guide to what to ask and things of that nature to your builder. So if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. And when I make my updated videos for the week, I'll answer those questions first. So first question that I got was from a young lady over on Instagram. And I'll put her name here. I'll go back and grab it. But the question was, how did we purchase our house without ever seeing it? We bought it off the internet. So what was our thought process? So to quickly answer this question, we are super researchers. So my husband is not going to spend any money, none, before he has done his research 10 times over. And he's more of a researcher than I am, but it always ends up that I have to do the research to answer the questions that he has. So we knew about the builder because the builder we actually learned about in our old city, but we moved here right before COVID started. So we just purchased something to get here, but we knew this was going to be a transitional place. We're going to buy this, stay there until we figure out where we want to be in the city. So long story short, we found that builder. So we trusted the builder from jump because we had already been dating them back in our old city. So we trusted the builder. So we had a lot of trust in the builder, but we walked a lot of floor plans. And I remember sitting down with our sales counselor, which is one of the things that we really like about our builder. She took 3 hours with us to ask us questions about what we wanted, what we were looking for, to show us pictures online. She's been there for quite a while, so she was able to give some feedback. So for us, it was really all about the research. We did a lot of BBB reviews because we wanted to make sure that whoever we purchased with, that they weren't just going to get our money, but if something were to happen long term down the road, that we can depend on them and come back and fix it. Because the current home that we're in, the builder is kind of shabby, and we had to fight to get some stuff done, and we just didn't want to have that fight again. So the first thing that we did was look for a reputable builder. And then from there, we took our time to outline what was must-haves in the house, how many bedrooms do we need? What's our ideal square footage? how do we want the floor plan kind of set up, so on and so forth. And we kind of had a list. So we had a list of must-haves on one side and a list of, it'd be nice to have on the other side. So we went through with our sales agent and said, these are the things that we must have. These are the things that are nice to have. Here's our ideal square footage for our home. What do you have that kind of fits that? And then based on that conversation, we were able to narrow down some floor plans. And then I sat with our broker, because we're working with a broker, and we sat with our broker and said, okay, here are the floor plans that we're looking at. Our story could be a little different from yours. We purchase homes, yes, to live in them, and this is our forever right now home. But we also purchase homes for resale value. So based off of that, we were like, okay, based off of this floor plan, based off of what you know about the market for a family that's the size of ours, for buyers that actually buy in this price point, because this skipped a couple of price points for us from where we are now to where we're going. Based off of what you know about buyers and their price point, do you think this floor plan is sufficient? And we went through a lot of floor plans with our brokers, and they kind of helped us through that process. So that's how we were able to purchase our house without ever seeing it. Once we decided on the floor plan, we asked the sales agents where the closest floor plans were. They gave us a list. And then from that list, we drove twice, 3 hours to go see models. Both of those walkthroughs I'll leave here. But we drove twice, like 3 hours to go and walk the actual floor plan after we had purchased it. And based off of the research that we did in the beginning, it did us well, because when I walked the actual floor plan, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait till we get in it. So that's how we were able to purchase and feel confident about our purchase that we were purchasing without ever seeing the floor plan, was the tremendous amount of research that we did. What I'll do in my Instagram stories, I'll leave some of the notes that we kind of took. I'm a super planner. So I have presentations that I designed based off of what I wanted the house to look like. It's a mess. It's not a mess. It was the research that I needed to do in order to help. We're spending a lot of money. So in order to help me feel good about this investment that we were about to make, there was a lot that I wanted. So that's what I did. And it worked out great. It's amazing. The houses that we've walked, all three of them, we've walked 3 of the floor plans, and all 3 of them have us so anxious to get into our home and turn it into ours, because we are really satisfied with the choice that we've made. The next question that I had from another young lady that was actually here on the channel, I'll leave her handle down here, was as it relates to paying for these upgrades. How do you pay? So our builder has stages. So we go from stage 1 to stage 8. And it's stage 0, to stage 8. So there's 9 stages. In stage 0 is when all of that planning stuff is going on. All of that stuff we talked about, in the last video. I'll link that one here. It's kind of like what to expect once you sign your contract. I'll leave that here. But when you go to the design center, some builders are requiring that you pay some. You don't have to pay, at least with Highland Homes. We didn't have to pay at the design center. We went and chose our options. A lot of the options that we chose, the design consultant had to go back, get final numbers on it. So she worked the numbers. She sent us an email. Do you like this? Is this what you were looking for? Once we decided, yes, these are the numbers, we had another meeting with our sales coordinator and said, okay, these are the options that we want. Let's go ahead and lock these in. And that's when they send you a link to pay. There's no checks. We haven't written a check yet. Everything has been done electronically. So we log on online, put in the address for the home, and pay through our bank accounts, and boom, it's done. So it's that simple. So those were the 2 questions that I had that I thought were going to be a little bit too hard to answer in the comment section. So I hope that helps. So if you have questions about anything that I've said, please leave them in the comments and I'll answer your questions on the next video. Now, let's get into today's video where we're going to talk about what to expect at your pre-construction meeting. So your pre-construction meeting is that exciting point in the process where you've done all of the work on the front end. You've been waiting for a little bit. Your sales counselor has probably told you now, they're waiting on your plans to come back, but it's time to meet with the construction manager because they're about to start building your home, maybe. So we met with our pre-construction meeting at the end of May. We signed our contract in April. So we went to the design center. We had picked all our options. We had kind of said, okay, this is what we want. But this pre-construction meeting was like, it's the meeting where you kind of put the stamp on it to say, okay, let's get this baby off the ground. So when you get to your pre-construction meeting, depending on your builder, I think our pre-construction meeting was like an hour and a half. And that's because we're efficient as home buyers. I have everything written down as questions come up, and my husband is too. Like, he has a lot of questions. So I've had to learn how to manage this process to make sure that anything that's happening, I'm like, okay, Tim's going to have a question about this. Let's make sure we answer this question. So Tim has a lot of questions. So we wrote all of those questions down and said, okay, these are the questions that we're going to ask our construction manager. Everything from how many water heaters are we going to have? How many AC units are we going to have? Where are those units going to be placed? All of that's going to happen at this pre-construction meeting. This is kind of like to dot your T's, cross your I, or dot your I's, cross your T's, so that everybody's on the same page. You sign off on it and you're good to go. So you can expect to spend about an hour to an hour and a half. That's how long ours was. Again, this is a meeting that's going to be during the day, so be prepared to take off from work if you have a job that you have to take off from. So this is a meeting that's going to be during the day. You're going to sit with your construction manager. With us, it was our construction manager, and our sales coordinator was there as well. She always has our back. I love when she's there. So we sat with our construction manager and we first go through all of the options that we chose. So all of the structural upgrades, they literally are going to show you the rendering of your home. It is so exciting. They're going to show you what your home looks like, and they're going to go through all of your structural upgrades to make sure that what you said on paper is what got drawn in these drawings, because up until now, it has not went off to the city, okay, to get the approval to build. So you're meeting here. So it's important that you have a copy of what you've chosen, as well as they're going to have a copy of what you've chosen. And it's kind of like putting paper to the drawings to make sure that what you said you want is actually included in the drawings. So all of the structural upgrades we went through first. And we went through the floor plans. They were able to show us where it was going to be. It was in these moments that I had questions about, like, where's stuff going to be placed, light switches, things of that nature. Like, where is that stuff going to be? And my construction manager was able to show me exactly where it was. And because this is a semi-custom home, we were able to say, okay, well, can we do it here? Can we move it here? I'll give you an example of what that looks like. In our master bathroom, I did a pre-wire for a chandelier, and I wanted that chandelier to be directly centered over the tub. Well, in the plans for the home, there's, what do they call it? Not can lighting, but it's the lighting that's in the ceiling. They already had a light that was drawn for that exact location to be over the tub. Well, I don't want the light there. I want that light to move, and I want my chandelier pre-wire to go there. So the question was, well, if that light is there, does that X off my ability to do the pre-wire for the chandelier? Or do we need to move your light so my pre-wire can go there? Those were questions that I had, and I was able to say, okay, I wanted exactly this distance from the wall, this distance from both walls. I want it to be right smack center to the tub, and I want this light that you've already planned for to move here. And we were able, in this conversation during this pre-construction meeting, to determine the location for where that light was going to be. He was able to move stuff around because they have their iPads. He was able to move stuff around. We were able to kind of render it and see it. Boom. It was nice. And I'm happy everybody's satisfied. He signed off on it so that whomever is planning it knows that this is a change that's been approved. I signed off on it and we went to the next room. So every room by room, we went through as far as where the water heaters were going to be placed, which garage they were going to be in, where's the socket for the water softener going to be, anything that you can think of. If you have questions about it, write it down, because during this pre-construction meeting, you will be able to sit with the construction manager and give specific details about where you want stuff to be, which is why we chose to build our home, because we wanted that control over where things were going to be. That's the fun part of going through this process. So when we got to the kitchen and the kitchen island and the pre-lights again, lighting came up again, where we got pre-lights for pre-wires for chandeliers. In the kitchen island, they already had plans for where lights were going to be. Nope, you got to move yours so ours can go in. We don't want to not do your lights. We want your lights, but we want to move them, make sure they're aesthetically pleasing. All of that was able to happen during the pre-construction meeting. Where your pre-wires, we did pre-wires for like security cams and floodlights. We were able to determine exactly where on the house that was going to be. Something as small as the carriage light on the outside. They had it placed that just looked awkward for me. And I was like, I know that's what you usually do, but I don't like it right there. Let's move it over for symmetry purposes. And let's determine if we need to add another carriage light. All of those things, I mean, like finite details, you have the ability to sit with your construction manager and go through them. So it's important that you prepare beforehand with any questions, anything that you want to know about where stuff is going to be, how things are going to operate. We were able to determine. It was in our pre-construction meeting when I was like, do I want to pay for a matte black faucet with you guys, or am I going to go brass? So because I'm a super planner and I already have like boards pinned with ideas, I know that brass is going to be the accent. It's the brass, black, and white is kind of the metal tones in the home. So since I know that, then I'm like, I don't need to really spend that $200 on that faucet. Let's not go there. You know, things that I thought I wanted and I decided that I didn't want, and things that I might not have known that I wanted, but they came up during the pre-construction meeting. Where's the gas pipe gonna go outside? Because we dropped a gas line outside for an outside kitchen. Where's the plumbing drop gonna go in the laundry room? Because we pre-plumbed for the laundry room. So things of that nature. Now's your time to ask. Because we had never seen this plan in person, our floor plan indicated that there would only be balusters, iron balusters on the first level. Well, when we walked into our floor plan, it's open. As you've seen on the videos, it's open and those rod balusters are upstairs. Well, what's going to be right there? We want that to be rod balusters. We don't want that to be wood. We don't want it to be closed off. Let's confirm right now during this meeting that that is actually going to be rod balusters. So it's things of that nature that happened during your pre-construction meeting. Once you finish your pre-construction meeting, you've gone through everything. It can, again, be another overwhelming meeting if you're not prepared. So make sure you are as prepared as you can be when you get there with any questions that you may have. Ask your builder, is there anything that I haven't said that someone else that's building this floor plan has thought about? Can you share that with me? Your sales agent would be able to share that with you as well, just so you get all of your ideas out and make sure that you truly understand what's going to happen. Are there going to be steps leading into the home? What's going to happen on the outside of the house? A lot of times we think about everything inside, walls and stuff like that, but what about your yard? You know, trees, how many of those are going to be included? Where are you going to plant those? Shrubs in the front, how is that going to look? Those kind of questions you want to ask at the pre-construction meeting, because once you're done with this meeting and everybody has signed off, if you don't leave the meeting with any open-ended questions, you're going to sign off on those plans and your construction manager is going to immediately submit them to your city so that your city can approve, so that they can get the permit to build. So now is your time to get all of your questions asked, all of your changes made, because once you get the approval to build, it's really not, I am not making, there are things, trust me, as a homeowner that is building a home, you will always find something else that you could have done. There are things that even after walking these homes, even after going through all of this planning, I'm like, shoot, I should have did it. But structural stuff, it's too late, boo. Like once you get to planning for your foundation and they get to forming those boards for your foundation, structural stuff, it's over. Once the plans have come back from the city, it's done. So like, don't, we were going back and forth. Are we going to extend the bedroom? We said no, we committed to no. Okay. Those type of things, be ready to commit, because now is the time where you're going to allow your builder to do their work. And that is building your home. There are so many delays right now around things that we can't control. The things that we can control, as the home builder, we want to kind of mitigate those changes and unnecessary back and forth so that the builder can do the work and you can get to your house. There's going to be things that are going to come up that are going to be so outside of your control. We get that, but the things that we can control, we don't want to be the slow down to the process by not being decisive and not giving the builder what they need in order to get the house built. So after that pre-construction meeting, commit to what you've committed to. There are some things in my master bathroom that I'm probably going to change once we get in there. And I probably could ask the construction manager, but I'll tell you what, I have learned, and I've learned from talking to other people that are building houses, when you change one thing, it changes like 15. So in this season, we are where we are. It has taken long enough to get to a place where they are finally about to start the actual building process. So for me, it's not worth it to go back and be like, hey, can we change this? Because I was thinking about this. I'm gonna write those things down, keep them in my little notepad. And then once we get in, I will check them off the list and get them changed so that this house can go ahead and get built and I can get my keys. We've got a senior graduating next year, and all I want to do is have her graduation party at the house. That's really all I want to do, is have her graduation get together at the house. That's our goal in life, is to get to the house so we can get it set up in enough time so that by the time graduation gets here in May, she can have a phenomenal party at the home. We don't have to pay any money to go anywhere else. That's all we're trying to do. So that's my motivation for not making any changes. So I hope that helps you understand what you can expect when you get to the pre-construction meeting. If you have questions about that meeting or anything else that you've heard me talk about, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I really want to be a resource for you guys. Can I just say before we go that, like, y'all have been popping, like, the channel. This is a brand new channel. Like, when we started, I had like 100 subscribers just off of a random video that I did, off of a campaign that I did like almost 10 months ago for my juicer. And while that video went viral and it's still, doing really good, I really didn't know what to expect. All I knew is that I love talking about this stuff, and my husband is like, find somebody to talk to about that. So I started talking to the camera, and you guys have been absolutely amazing. Like, the support, the tolerance for me learning this platform and learning how to be here and learning how to make quality videos. It's unparalleled. So I just want to say thank you to those of you that are supporting the channel. We are like 300 and something subscribers. In a matter of a month, that's 200 new people here. Like, y'all are killing it. And, I didn't have many goals for the channel, but if I do have a goal, if I have one goal, it would be to get to 1,000 subbies. We're more than halfway through the 4,000 watch hours, so that this information, the advertising can pay for this information. I am a content creator. If you follow me on Instagram, that's my living. I'm a blogger. The kids are back in school now, so I'll be spending a lot more time blogging about how to work full time at home and make sure, because we've got 4 kids, so all of them are crazy busy, and just kind of sharing that process. I do that through the blogging on Instagram, but I never imagine in a million years imagine that documenting this process would be so well received. So I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate your support, even through the mistakes. And I am so excited about sharing this process with you and having you guys to talk to about it so that I don't drive poor Timothy crazy. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider to do so. The community here is absolutely amazing. And, you know, this is the building journey, but once we get in, I got to decorate that mug. So I'm sure that's where this channel will grow. So share with a friend. Let me know if you have any questions. Connect with me on Instagram. Send me a DM and let me know that you found me on YouTube so that we can connect and I can make sure I say thank you to you over there as well. And be on the lookout for an update on the lot. You'll probably see it first on Instagram since I didn't get a chance to do it here. But I probably won't go to the lot until the end of the week because they said that we should be ready to pour foundation by the end of the month. So we'll see. In the next video, I'm thinking, and you let me know if there's something else you want me to talk about before then, but in the next video, I'm thinking about sharing like the pros and cons of hiring an inspector for all stages of the build. When we started this process, our broker was like, hey, you know, for this type of purchase, you probably want to inspect it at every stage. But I've heard some mixed feelings about that. Even when we've called inspectors for like pre-foundation, pre-pour, they were like, oh, it's a waste of money, but I'll do it if you want to. But I can tell you now that I am in a house that has had substantial foundation trouble, and we had to live through foundation repairs. And that is not something that, if I can help it, not saying that the inspection is going to eliminate that, but if I can help it, it's not something that I want to live through again. So we already knew that we were inspecting everything because we wanted to make sure we had a rock solid house before. And yes, we trust our builder. They have an amazing reputation, but I do not build houses. I need a professional there that can give me insight to say, yes, that is accurate. The builder did their job. It's exactly what they said it is. Or we found these things and we've expressed them to the builder. Here's your options. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I'm thinking about talking about that. I am also thinking about a series where we start to show you how we get this house ready to show, because once we're in the middle of repairs right now. So if you want to know about like going through foundation repair, we were thinking about keeping this and making this our second rental property. We still hadn't decided on if we're going to do that or not. But if you want insight into like what we're doing with the homes that we already have, let me know because I can create content on that as well. But definitely be on the lookout for another video as far as the updates on the new house within the next week. But let me know in the comments if you got questions, anything else you want me to talk about. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram and I'll see you in the next video, friend. Thanks for sticking around. Bye for now.